All right, welcome to another edition of the Florida Speakers Association Speaker Spotlight. I'm the president, James Henderson, and I'm just delighted to be here today with my good buddy, Fabio Marques. Fabio came on the scene really a little over a year ago and has just been dynamic since he's been here. So I'm just going to start by saying, Fabio, welcome to the Speaker Spotlight.
Thank you so much, James. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
I'm telling you what, see, we were laughing earlier because he said, man, you look kind of sharp. I said, I'm only sharp because I expected you to be sharp because you always are, which he always is. Let's tell you what, let's just jump right into it, Fabio. I know people want to know about you and what's happening. Tell you what, let's start out like this. I've asked this question to every person under the Speaker Spotlight. I want you to describe your business two ways. First, the way you would describe it to a potential client. And second, the way you would describe it to one of your colleagues, one of your friends, one of the guys in FSA. So we got to get a varied view of how you look at your business.
All right. Well, it's quite the same for both public, but anyway, let's see. To my clients, I describe it as like this. We help business owners and executives to develop and master magna influence over their teams and their clients. In this world today, everything is about influence, right? But not any kind of influence. It has to be a distinctive, positive kind of influence. I call it influence with excellence. And in order for you to influence with excellence, you must master key areas, right? Motivation, and I'm talking about self-motivation, how you motivate your teams. So I help my clients to do that. Customer service, you really need to be client-centric and achieve excellence in how you serve your clients. Sales, there's a new way to sell, which is much more elegant, polite, attractive than what we are used to. Leadership, and of course, presentation techniques. So these, for me, are the areas where you can really develop and master magna influence. And of course, grow your business. We have two types of guarantees for our clients. We have satisfaction guarantee, and we have return on investment guarantee, where we guarantee at least that we will double your money. So if you put $10,000, you're going to at least get $20,000 back. If you put $100,000, you're going to at least get $200,000 back. This is our second and most important guarantee, the return on investment guarantee. Well, how I would present to my colleagues, I would say, we help our clients develop magna influence through these 5 areas: motivation, customer service, sales, leadership, and presentation techniques, so they can double, triple, or 10x their business in 12 months or less.
Okay, let's hold on to that for just one second, because I'm going to come back to that. But first, I want to ask you, how does the International Excellence Society fit into that? Did I get that right?
That's great, International Excellence Society. Well, in the past, I was only Fabio Marques company all the way. And then a lot of consultants were coming to me to learn my methods, my techniques to apply to their customers or their clients, right? But I felt that they were not so comfortable in saying, okay, I work with Fabio Marques. I am an associate consultant with Fabio Marques. They, in Brazil or Latin America, I don't know if it's all over, but they prefer to say, I'm an independent consultant, right? Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I didn't have available dates for all my clients. So I had to say no to a lot of my clients because they didn't have available dates in my calendar. So I thought, okay, so I have consultants that want to work with me, but they don't want to identify themselves as being part of Fabio Marques' team. And I have clients that want to work with me with my methods, but I don't have enough dates in my calendar to help everybody. Okay, so I created this International Excellence Society as an independent organization where I can teach my methods to the consultants. I can find experts in all areas of management and behavioral science, and then I can nurture those experts, and I can select the experts I want to recommend to my clients when I don't have dates available, or when we need some extra help to a major or project that we cannot handle by ourselves.
Okay, so it's almost like a pseudo franchise, really, right?
Yeah, it's like micro franchise. Yeah.
Okay.
So every consultant, when they want to learn my method, they pay like a fee to learn that method, that methodology, and then they are entitled to apply those methods into their clients or into my project with my clients.
Let me ask you this, and I'll do this kind of in two phases. Number one, what's your background and how did you get into the speaking piece? And what part of your speaking is, let's say, for example, on stage? What part is coaching? What part is consulting? Just kind of shake that out for us just a little bit.
All right. So how do I, did I get into this speaking business? I'm an electronic engineer. So I started because I was a stutterer when I was younger. I could not really speak.
Wow.
Yeah. I fall when I was 5 and I became a stutterer, and I became also, I had a problem with this eye. So this eye was glued to to my nose. So I had to go through therapy for 15 years so I could correct that. So I decided I was still a stutterer when I was 17, 18. So I decided I would have a career into the science and technology, so I wouldn't have to talk to people. So I thought.
Right.
So I started working when I was 11, of course, as a delivery boy. And then when I was 16, already as an intern, as the associate engineer I was already. And then I continued studying engineering. And then I was working for Siemens, selling technical stuff, then for IBM, then for Alcon Surgical with medical equipment. I was the guy that sold and installed the first excimer laser in Latin America.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I was very excited about this career and everything, but then I realized that I was also colorblind. So I was having difficulty to deal with cables and colors and transistors and all that. And I was taking more time than the other technicians or engineers to do the job. But I knew that I could influence other people, right? So that's when I discovered I had this influence vocation, let's say.
Right.
So I started studying neurolinguistic programming, communication, negotiation techniques, selling techniques, communication techniques, and I started applying those techniques and skills in my day-to-day routines. And I was extremely successful dealing with clients and with colleagues. So my boss realized that, and then they made me general manager of services and technical equipment when I was 22 years old.
Awesome.
For this multinational company that was working in Brazil. So I was in charge of 37 engineers and the entire country. And of course, I was less experienced than the other engineers. I had less technical skills than they did. So I had to use my influence techniques to make them do the job and respect me and follow my rules, right? So I was doing this, and in 3 years, we became a #1 Latin American and #3 in the world in terms of profitability, customer satisfaction, and market share. So I was invited by other companies and also inside the company I was working for as an executive to teach other managers, other country managers, my techniques, my management processes, and my techniques. And then I really fall in love into this. I realized I was much more satisfied and much happier helping others to succeed than with my own success.
Right.
So I thought, well, this is amazing because I could multiply my knowledge. I could multiply my influence, right? So I was seeing other managers, other people having success with my techniques, with my knowledge applied to their reality. And it felt so great. So I decided in 1996 that I was going to do this for the rest of my life. That's how it started. Of course, it was hard at the beginning, right? Because I was 26 years old. And a lot of people start working when they are 24, 25, 26. And
Right.
I was 26 years old, presenting myself as a management consultant and speaker, right? So I faced a lot of prejudice, of course. My first years was very hard. My first year, I made like 5% of what I used to make as an executive in my first year. My family was talking to me, you screwed this up. You know, you made the wrong decision. You're going to regret for the rest of your life. You're never going to make money again. Your wife is going to leave you. So I heard all kind of things because in the eyes of everybody, I was this lucky guy that was a top executive with 25, 26 years old, right?
Right.
And I threw it all to start my career as a speaker and consultant and trainer. And of course, facing all this prejudice. So the only way I could break the barrier was with my first, I was of course attending a lot of small clients, but I was trying to get medium size and large corporations, right? And I was talking to this corporation, they had like 1,500 employees. They were the main distributor and an industry for, you know, satellite dishes at that time in Brazil. And I was trying to get them as a client, and it was 18 months and was trying and making meetings and writing proposals, and nothing was working. So I sat with the guy, I said, listen, what is the real problem here? Why don't you hire me? He said, listen, Fabio, may I be honest with you? I said, you owe me that. You have to be honest with me. You have only 20, you are 26 years old, right? You have the same age as my son, and my son doesn't know what he's going to do with his life. I said, this is your son's problem, not mine.
Right.
Only I can coach him, I can help him. But listen, I know how to do what you need me to do here. Was a management, you know, a program about excellence, and I know how to do this. I can help you. He said, no, the risk is too high. I said, why? Because to put together an event, and this is going to be a series of events, like 16 speeches, and then followed by a consulting program. And every speech, every event is going to cost me like $500,000 to put all my, you know, franchisees together in this event, in this venue. So it's going to cost me $500,000, travel expenses and everything. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to have to do a second event. It's going to cost me another $500,000. So my risk is like $1 million. And then I said, okay, what if I pay you $1 million if it doesn't work? You try it with me. If it doesn't work, I'll pay you $1 million. He looked at me and said, no, you're never going to do that. Of course I will. You know, you hire me because I'm sure I can do this. If I cannot do this, if I'm just lying to you, I have to pay you, right? So let's put it in contract. And we put it in contract with lawyers and everything, that if they didn't like my presentation, if they thought for any reason that was not worth it, I would have to give them back like $1 million. But of course, I created some kind of criteria, right? I said, okay, how are we going to measure this? Let's put a scale from 0 to 10. So after my presentation, you ask the audience to give me from 0 to 10. Being 10, this guy is completely ready to do this work. If it's less than 10, hold on a second. If it's less than 10, if it's like 9 or less, so I have to pay you, right? So well, it's a little too high, right? Let's go for it. It's an excellence management process, right? Or project. So let's make it 9 or higher. You hire me. Below 9, I have to pay you back $1 million. So they gave me like 30 days to prepare. In this 30 days, I visit every store they had that I could reach. I played mystery shopping. I really interviewed the manager, the employees, the clients, and I studied like crazy everything that I knew, and new books as well. And I was really prepared to do that. So on the day of the presentation, I gave my speech, and then after I had to wait, they were collecting their evaluation sheet, and they were putting in the computer. There was a little computer in the corner. I don't know if you remember the PC 286. That was the computer at that time, very old computer. And the intern was inputting the data was not Excel, was Lotus 1, 2, 3 at that time.
That was way back.
Yeah. So I was waiting, and then my client came to me with the result, right? And said, "Do you really want to know the result?" I said, "Of course I want." I was so confident because I felt the audience was with me, right?
Right.
So he said, "Okay, 9.6." And he called me a dirty name just to celebrate that. And then that was my first client. That was my first real client,
Right.
major client. And then opened the doors, because after that, I made the 16, I delivered the 16 speeches, and I closed a 3-year contract with them, and I transformed their entire organization. And then they gave my name to Microsoft. They gave my name to Compaq at that time. They gave my name to Banco do Brasil, was one of the biggest banks in Brazil. So they opened the doors for me, but it was hard. The first
Well,
year, I regret it almost every day, but I kept going.
awesome. Let tell you what. Let me segue from that because that was in Brazil, and now you're in South Florida, and you're in the United States. It's obvious that you're the kind of guy that will take your chips and lay them in the middle of the table, and make a bet on your excellence. And so consequently, you're here, and now you have an international business. You still have clients in Brazil and South America. You're working on clients here in the United States. How would you compare that, getting that first client, with making the move to the U.S. and taking on that challenge?
That's an excellent question, and it's a big step, of course, because I started working in São Paulo, Brazil, right, and then South America, and then Latin America. I have clients in Mexico, and then I decided, okay, let's go to North America, right? And it was a major step, of course, because I was not sure how I would be received here, welcome, if they would really value my expertise or not. So it was a big bet, of course. And I decided to change a little bit the strategy, not only because I was coming to US, but because of the pandemic and everything. Answering one of your previous questions, how much of my business is stage, how much is mentoring and coaching. In Brazil and Latin America was like 95%, 90% of my time was on stage, delivering speeches or training workshops, right? And 10% was consulting, coaching, mentoring one-on-one, only to CEOs, presidents, vice president, or top executives. When I came here and I started doing my speeches to promote my services, was in January and February of 2020. Then COVID hit, and all the venue events, right, were erased from the planet, at least from. And then, okay, I, of course, continued to work with my clients in Brazil online. I convinced my clients in Brazil to go online. Not everybody was convinced. So it took me like a few months to convince my clients to continue doing the work we used to do, in person, to do online. I created a very strong platform to host my materials to support my students online. So I created a very good and unique experience for my clients. So they were convinced that was worth it to go online, and now they're applaud me for that. But my new clients in North America, in the US, my strategy was to start more or less as I started in Brazil in 1996 with the small business owner. So by the end of last year, I started promoting this mentorship program for the small business owner, where I really guide him or her step by step to develop this magna influence skills, so they can manage their business and their little team better and more effectively. So they will grow their income and they will grow their business. Why am I doing this? Because, of course, I'm also contacting my clients in multinational companies that I have served in Brazil, if they know somebody here in the US. And some of them are giving me those contacts to start, and I have done some jobs already for multinational companies in the US. But I'm focusing on helping the small business owner to become medium size and maybe big later. Because if I help this small business owners now, where nobody's really helping him or her to grow or to overcome these obstacles right now, if I help them succeed, they're going to become loyal to me and they're going to grow, and I'm going to help them grow for years to come. So that's
Hey,
my
let me back you up for just 1 second, and I probably should have asked you this earlier. Define for us magna influence.
Okay. Well, influence is the way you can impact other people, right?
Mhm.
To help them do what you expect them to do or what you think it's good for them to do. Of course, I'm talking in the ethical part of influence.
Okay.
A lot of people use influence to manipulate people. I'm talking about magna means magnificent, this distinctive, of great excellence. So magna influence is influence with excellence, with ethics. So you really help people do what they need to do to become more successful.
Okay.
It's not influence people to do what you want them to do. No, it's influencing people to do what they need to do to become more successful.
Okay. Awesome. That's a great definition. I wish I'd have asked you a little earlier. You mentioned it a little earlier. What did you find to be the biggest challenge for you uh, once the pandemic hit and everyone was switching and trying to figure out who they were going to be over this next period of time? What did you find the most challenging? And then after that, what did you find to be something that you learned or something that you grew into that you may not have grown into or you may not have learned had this difficult situation not come about?
That's great. Well, the main challenge I had to overcome myself was I was so successful doing things the way I was used to do that I had to really erase some of my successful experience from the past to give space for something new.
Okay, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, because it's the trap every successful person find him or herself in. Because if you are successful, you believe, oh, that's the right way to do things, right? Because I've been successful.
Yeah.
But when things change like they did last year, you have to really empty the cup so you can put new stuff in it, right? So I learned this from martial arts. I'm a martial artist. I practice judo, karate, kung fu, and taekwondo. So this comes from martial arts. Sometimes you need to unlearn so you can open space to learn something new. So that was the main challenge, because I really had to reconsider everything. I had to put myself into the student chair again. And I hired mentors for me.
Mhm.
I never spent so much money in mentorship for myself as I did in 2020. I really invested a lot of time as a student to learn new techniques, new things, and even just to open my eyes to new possibilities, right?
Right.
I was so focused in the past of serving large corporations as a speaker, as a trainer, that I was in only doing coaching and mentoring to top executives, that I believed in the past that only C-level executives had the money to invest in themselves.
Right.
During the pandemic, I discovered that no, everyone who is striving to become better is willing to spend money in improving themselves. So I closed mentorship programs in the United States and in Brazil and in South America with people who are middle-level managers or even interns. Some of my clients now are interns. They're investing a lot of money just to become better and become ready to be more successful in their role. So I would never see that opportunity if I was not really open to unlearn the old stuff and learn the new stuff.
Right. That's open. That's interesting. I actually just finished a 3-day boot camp across the stage with Delatoro McNeil. It was absolutely fabulous. And to be honest with you, it was the first time that I'd really invested that type of money into my development. Having said that, why don't you impress upon or just give us your opinion to speakers, especially young speakers, new speakers, how important it is to make that investment in yourself.
Well, it's crucial, especially in this profession, right? Since 1996, I delivered 3,500 presentations in 20 countries. We're talking about more than 16,000 hours on stage. It's very easy to become cocky and arrogant. Think about, right? And thinking about the millions of dollars that I made, okay, I'm a successful man. No, no. Our clients expect from us continuing learning and development. They expect us to be the leaders in the evolution journey. They expect us to be the first to learn new things and to try new concepts and to really put ourselves out there experimenting new things. So when it comes the time to talk to them, we are already experienced on those matters.
Right.
Our clients don't want to be guinea pigs for our experiments. They want to know that we have tried in ourselves before. We have tried in our own business. We have talked to a lot of people before. So when we talk to them about them, it's a proven method. It's a feasible method that is going to work for them. So we need to stay hungry for learning and improving ourselves. And this is one of the main benefits I get from associating myself with NSA and FSA. Because no matter how successful you are, you can always learn from somebody else who is in the same arena as you are, even if they are younger than you and if they're just starting. You know, the world is a cycle. So what made you successful in the past will not guarantee you'll be successful in the future. Everybody knows that, right? But when you talk to somebody like, right now we are in the middle of the academy. We have a lot of aspiring speakers that I'm helping with, right? I'm helping them with my experience. But when they talk to me, about their fears, when they talk to me about their anxiety, when they talk to me about their plans for the future, I have the opportunity to see myself again, reinventing myself and considering the same fears or the same opportunities they are seeing as new ways to reinvent myself and continue my progress. So it's amazing how you can learn. I can learn from you. I can learn from Dr. Helen. I can learn from a new speaker, right? Because we have different points of view. And if you're really willing to listen, you can really become rich in terms of knowledge and emotion when you learn from everybody.
Now, if you got a couple minutes, because I know you were on a time crunch and I caught you today, but you said something that was very, very important, and I want you to expound on this because I want to hear what you say about this. You said, and I quote, "If you're willing to listen," and there, you know how it said that there are people who listen to respond, and there are people who listen to understand. And I think it's crucial that we learn how to listen. So why don't you expound on that just a little bit? I think that's important.
This is the right point there, as you said. You have to listen to understand and listen as you were listening to a master. Don't listen as you were listening just to anybody. You were listening as if you were listening to a master, because everybody can be your master if you put yourself in the shoes of a student. And, for me, this is the main key for my success when dealing with clients. When I'm talking to a client, for instance, and I mean, not the organization, the people who work there, right? I can be talking to the doorman or to the president. I don't care. The people who work there are my client. So when I'm talking to them, I'm really talking to them and I'm listening to them as if I was listening to a master, because they are the master of their reality.
Right.
And if I want to serve them well, I need to understand their reality well. So listen to everybody as if you were listening to a master, because everybody is a master of their own reality. And if you are able to understand a variety of realities, you become
Mhm.
wise. Because wisdom comes from understanding all realities there are. And reality is what people perceive as their reality.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Now, real quick, before we get off here, I gotta know because I caught it a little bit. You're into martial arts. When Fabio is not, because I always joke with you. I always joke with you about how sharp you are and how your hair's in the same place. When you let it down and you're just having fun, what's Fabio up to? What do you do for fun?
Oh, I do karaoke.
Are you good?
I'm good, especially if I choose the right songs. Actually, in Brazil, I have a band. I have a band called Motiva Music, where we present motivational speeches with live music. And I
Awesome.
write the songs and I perform the songs. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I perform Michael Jackson. I perform Elvis Presley. I perform even Frank Sinatra, a few songs, not all of them. And I
Wow.
perform my own songs, of course. So it's a lot of fun, and my clients even pay more for that. So
Right.
it's a lot of fun. And also, so music is a great part of my life. I started writing music when I was 10 years old, so I kept that habit. I didn't become a professional musician or singer, but it's the way I put music into my life was bringing to my motivational speeches,
Right.
and so it's a lot of fun. And of course, when I have an opportunity to go to a karaoke, karaoke, I go. So, and usually I start with Elvis Presley. Well, there's one full money, two full show, three to get it right. Now go, cat, go, but don't you?
Love it.
Because there's no way to go wrong with Elvis. And also martial arts, of course. I like to surf as well. I like to play basketball, play soccer. I really enjoy sports a lot.
Good. 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 Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna let you take it out, man. Yeah, man. I've had fun talking to you today, man. It's awesome. I learned a lot about you, man. I've been around you for a while, right? Oh, and by the way, Fabio is your vice president, which means that next year he's going to be your president-elect, moving into that cycle of being the leadership of Florida Speakers Association. So I don't want to leave that out, but I'm going to let you take it out. I'm going to have you take it out by just give them, if you had an opportunity to give everybody one nugget, just one nugget today, just drop some knowledge on them, and then we'll get out of here.
I think the most important thing to really be successful as a professional speaker is stop thinking about how much money you're going to make and think about how much value you're going to deliver.
Wow.
That's what our clients need from us. They need value. They need unbeatable motivation from us. They need practical knowledge. They need feasible methods. They need something that will work for them. So they need value. So every time I talk to a client, I don't think for a second how much money I'm going to make. I'm going to make. I think, how can I help that person? How can I add value to their business for good? Not only lip service, really, how can I add value? Because if you really add value, they will come back to you. I have some clients that have hired me more than 100 times now, because they see every time I hire Fabio, he brings value. So let's hire him again to do something different. For some clients, I do everything. They don't care my expertise. They just want to work with me. So I have done leadership, financial advisor, customer service, teamwork, managing conflict, everything, because they trust I'm going to prepare myself hard enough to deliver great value. So they just trust me. I'm able to do that. So think about
Awesome.
value. Not money.
Awesome. Fabio, taking us out on deliver the value. That's really awesome. So we'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much. I wish you health and wealth always. Bye.